The alien ships had retreated, at least for now. The skies above Earth were quieter, though traces of the massive invasion still lingered. Damaged cities, scattered debris, and the scars of battle that humanity would remember forever. Yet amid the destruction there was something stronger than fear: pride. Humans had faced a force that many believed unbeatable, and had not only survived, but had fought back and prevailed. In underground command centers and makeshift labs, scientists and strategists worked tirelessly to assess the damage, repair technology, and prepare for possible future encounters. Dr. Lila Moreno and Major Aaron Patel stood before a holographic map of the planet, the blinking red and green lights showing where humans had defended successfully and where repairs were most urgent. "We did it," Lila said quietly. "Earth survived. Humans survived, and we've proven that we are not a species to be conquered." Major Patel nodded, though his expression was serious. "We've won this battle, yes, but the galaxy is watching now. The invaders will return or others may come. We have to ensure humanity is ready, always." Across the globe, humans were busy rebuilding. Cities that had been damaged were cleared of debris. Emergency teams restored electricity, water, and communications. Volunteers helped repair homes, schools, and hospitals. Ordinary people became heroes in their own right, proving that the strength of a species lay not only in its weapons but in its resilience, intelligence, and determination. In New York, Liam Carter and his sister Maya walked through the city streets, marveling at how quickly people had begun to rebuild. Streets were filled with volunteers helping neighbors, repairing damage, and clearing debris. Children played cautiously, knowing they were safe for now, but carrying in their hearts the memory of courage they had witnessed. "We did more than survive," Liam said. "We showed the aliens and the galaxy what humans are capable of." Maya smiled. "And it's just the beginning. We'll have to be ready for whatever comes next. But for now, it's a victory." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council convened to discuss the events on Earth. Representatives from countless civilizations observed reports, videos, and analyses of humanity's defense. Every representative, no matter how advanced, was astonished. Humans, once considered a minor species on a small, unremarkable planet, had resisted and outsmarted a force that had conquered countless worlds. One elder representative from a distant system spoke gravely. "I have studied thousands of species. None have demonstrated this level of adaptability, creativity, and courage. Humans are remarkable." Another council member added, "Their victory is not in destruction. They did not annihilate the invaders. They fought with intelligence and ingenuity. That is a trait rarely seen in the galaxy." The council debated whether Earth should now be considered a full member of the interstellar community. Many argued that humans had earned respect, not just by surviving, but by demonstrating qualities that few civilizations possessed: unpredictability, courage, cooperation, and creativity. Back on Earth, life slowly returned to a new normal. Though the threat of the alien invaders lingered in the minds of people, a sense of unity and purpose had emerged. Humanity realized that it was capable of extraordinary things when united. Governments began coordinating global defense systems. Scientists shared discoveries internationally, and citizens learned that even small contributions could make a difference in a planetary-scale crisis. Dr. Moreno addressed a meeting of international scientists. "We have learned an important lesson," she said. "Earth is not just a planet. It is home to a species capable of resilience, innovation, and courage. Our technology is only part of our strength. Our greatest advantage is our ability to think, to adapt, and to act together." Major Patel added, "We have seen what humans can do. We are no longer a species to be underestimated. The galaxy may come to challenge us, but we will be ready. Humanity has proven it can survive, and it can fight back, smartly, bravely, and decisively." Even the aliens, though distant now, had learned a lesson. They had underestimated the species they had assumed would be easy prey. Humans were not a predictable species of fear and submission. They were intelligent, courageous, and capable of collective action. The invaders would think twice before returning, for Earth had shown that its inhabitants were unlike any others they had faced. In communities around the world, ordinary acts of heroism continued to be celebrated. People who had guided neighbors to safety, repaired critical infrastructure, or developed innovative strategies were recognized not just by governments, but by their communities. Humanity had proven that the true power of a species lay in its people, not just its weapons. In the Carter household, Liam and Maya reflected on their experiences. "I never imagined we could do something like this," Maya said softly. "I thought we'd be helpless," Liam shook his head. "We learned fast. We worked together. And the galaxy is watching now. Humans are no longer just survivors. We're a force to be respected." Children played in parks now free from danger, their laughter echoing like a promise for the future. Teachers incorporated lessons about courage, cooperation, and creative problem-solving into their classrooms. Humanity had not only survived but had grown stronger as a species. From orbit, alien sensors occasionally scanned Earth, but they detected not fear, but readiness. Humans had transformed the planet into a living system of defense, learning from every encounter and applying every lesson. The invaders understood that Earth was no longer an easy target. Humanity had proven itself capable of resistance and innovation beyond expectation. The Galactic Council, impressed and humbled, voted to recognize Earth as a member of interstellar society. Ambassadors from distant worlds traveled to Earth to witness firsthand the species that had resisted an empire. They were greeted not with weapons but with curiosity, intelligence, and the determination of a species that had fought to protect its home. Dr. Moreno met with the council representatives. "Humans may be new to the galaxy, but we are capable," she said. "We learn, we adapt, and we work together. Our strength is not just in our technology, but in our courage and creativity." Major Patel added, "Earth will always defend itself. We hope to learn from other species and share knowledge, but never again will we be underestimated." For humans, the victory was more than survival. It was a revelation that together they could achieve the impossible. Every act of bravery, every innovative tactic, and every moment of teamwork had proven the species' value not just to themselves, but to the galaxy. In cities across Earth, celebrations began. People lit candles, rang bells, and gathered to honor the heroes of the invasion. Stories of courage spread quickly. A teacher guiding children through chaos, an engineer disabling a drone, a family rescuing neighbors. Humanity had shown that even in the face of overwhelming power, the human spirit could prevail. Liam and Maya watched from their rooftop as light shimmered across the city. "We've done it," Maya said. "Not just for us, but for everyone." Liam nodded. "Yes, humanity has survived. We've shown that intelligence, courage, and determination are stronger than fear. The galaxy knows now that humans cannot be taken lightly." In the weeks that followed, Earth rebuilt stronger than before. New technologies emerged from the innovations created during the conflict. Education emphasized science, strategy, and critical thinking. Humans understood that vigilance was necessary, but they also knew the power that lay within their species. The aliens, though they remained at a distance, had gained respect for the humans they had once considered weak. They would not attack again lightly, for Earth's defenders were no longer ordinary. They were capable of turning fear into strategy, threat into opportunity, and chaos into coordinated resistance. The Galactic Council recorded Earth's achievements as a benchmark of resilience. Other civilizations studied human tactics, learning that creativity, courage, and adaptability could overcome even the most technologically advanced adversaries. Humanity's stand had not only saved their planet, but had inspired the galaxy with a lesson that power alone does not conquer. The spirit of a species can triumph when it refuses to surrender. As night fell across the planet, humans looked to the stars with newfound confidence. The memory of fear remained, but it was now overshadowed by hope, pride, and determination. Humanity had survived the greatest threat it had ever faced and emerged stronger, smarter, and more united. Earth had endured. Humans had triumphed. And the galaxy, once doubtful of this small blue planet, now watched in awe. For Liam, Maya, Dr. Moreno, Major Patel, and billions of others, one truth was clear: humanity was not just alive, it was a force to be reckoned with. The future of Earth was secure not because of weapons or alien retreat, but because humans had proven the greatest strength of all: intelligence, courage, and the unyielding will to survive. And somewhere in the depths of space, the Galactic Council quietly recorded the lesson of Earth. A species that refused to surrender could astonish even the most advanced civilizations. Humanity had won. Earth had survived, and the universe would never underestimate humans again. The solar system was no longer just a cluster of planets and moons. Humanity had spread beyond Earth, establishing mining colonies on Mars, industrial stations in the asteroid belt, and research outposts on the icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Life among the stars had become routine, but for many, the thrill of discovery still burned bright. Dr. Liana Rojas, one of the leading archaeologists for the United Earth Space Exploration Council, leaned over the holographic display aboard the research vessel Aurora's Edge. Streams of data shimmered in the air, showing gravitational anomalies in the far reaches of the Saturn system. "These readings, they're enormous," Liana said, her voice tense with excitement. "Nothing natural could create such uniform distortions. It's deliberate." Her colleague, Chief Engineer Tariq Amari, adjusted his glasses and studied the projections. "You're suggesting, what? An artificial structure? That's bigger than any station we've ever built." Liana nodded. "Bigger than anything, really." "The gravimetric signature. It's consistent with something the size of a planet. But it's hollow," Tariq whistled. "A hollow planet? That's insane. Even our largest construction projects are nothing compared to this." They weren't alone. Their team of scientists, engineers, and roboticists crowded around the display, all trying to comprehend what lay beneath the ice of one of Saturn's outer moons. A planetoid known as S117 had long been considered a frozen, lifeless world. No one had suspected it held secrets buried for millions of years. "Prepare the drones," Liana ordered. "We need visuals. Scan the surface, drill, and see what's underneath. Carefully." Hours passed as the drones descended into the frozen surface, cutting through layers of ice and rock. Cameras and sensors transmitted astonishing images, geometric patterns, smooth metallic surfaces, and openings large enough to swallow entire city blocks. The team's excitement grew with each new feed. This isn't just a ship," murmured Dr. Han Su, a linguist specializing in ancient alien languages. "It's a city, maybe even a civilization preserved inside, and it's enormous." Liana smiled, her eyes reflecting the holographic glow. "Exactly. We've found something that no human has ever seen before, something that's older than our solar system, and it's waiting for us." The first day of exploration was cautious. Robotic explorers drilled through thick ice and rock to create entry points. They deployed sensors to measure temperature, air pressure, and radiation. Surprisingly, some readings indicated a stable internal environment, almost as if the starship had preserved its own ecosystem. By the third day, humanity had its first glimpse inside. A drone slipped through an enormous hatch and transmitted images that stunned everyone. Massive corridors stretching for miles illuminated by soft, pulsing lights. Walls were covered in alien symbols and patterns, yet there was an elegance, a symmetry that spoke to intelligence far beyond humanity's. Tariq's voice trembled slightly over the comms. This is beyond imagination. They built starships the size of planets. Who could even do that?" Liana's heart raced. "We're about to find out." The team began designing a plan to send humans inside. They trained for weeks, rehearsing every procedure, analyzing every potential hazard. The starship was ancient, perhaps millions of years old, and no one knew what dangers might lie within. Unstable structures, unknown atmospheres, or automated defenses left behind by a long-gone species. When the time finally came, a small human crew descended in reinforced exploration pods. Liana led the mission herself, accompanied by Tariq, Han Su, and 3 others. Dr. Elena Cruz, an astrobiologist, Commander Jace Thorne, a veteran space pilot, and Miko Tanaka, a robotics engineer. The pods passed through the enormous hatch and entered the first chamber. A wave of awe swept over the crew. The walls glimmered with a strange metallic sheen, and corridors stretched farther than the eye could see. Towering structures resembling towers, arches, and bridges were built inside, hinting at the ship's purpose. A self-sufficient habitat. Elena whispered, "It's like a city. Inside a starship. How did they even build this?" The team split into smaller groups to explore. Liana and Tariq headed toward what appeared to be a control center. The room was vast, filled with consoles and panels glowing faintly. Despite the ship's age, some systems were still functional, flickering like stars in the distance. Hansu examined the walls, tracing the alien symbols with her fingers. "This language, it's complex, But there's a pattern, a rhythm to it. I think it tells a story. As they ventured deeper, the team encountered preserved chambers filled with water, air, and even plant life. Small alien creatures, harmless and preserved in stasis, floated in these environments. The humans realized these starships were not just machines. They were ecosystems, built to sustain life over long voyages across the galaxy. Commander Jace shook his head in disbelief. These weren't warships, they were homeworlds, mobile cities designed to travel among the stars. And they've been lying here, buried for ages. Tariq studied the engineering marvels around him. The energy systems, they're unlike anything we know. Some kind of self-sustaining fusion cores, maybe even something beyond fusion. This technology, humanity could learn more in a year here than in a century on Earth. Despite the excitement, there were dangers. The structure was old, and some sections showed signs of stress. Walkways crumbled, doors jammed, and environmental systems flickered. But every problem the humans faced highlighted something vital: their ingenuity. They built supports, rerouted energy, and even modified their pods to assist the ship's ancient systems. What amazes me the most, Elena said, standing in a chamber filled with floating, glowing flora, is that life exists here without sunlight, without Earth's atmosphere. Whoever built this, they mastered life itself. Liana nodded, and now we have the chance to learn from them. As the humans explored further, they discovered a massive library-like chamber. Shelves stretched for kilometers filled with crystalline data storage units. Each unit glimmered faintly, holding untold amounts of knowledge. Some contained star maps of distant galaxies, others detailed technologies far beyond human understanding. Hansu ran her fingers along one of the crystalline units. This could change everything. Every question humanity has ever had about the universe, some of the answers might be here. But the deeper they went, the more they realized they were not alone. Tiny drones long dormant began to stir. Some floated silently observing. Others emitted light signals scanning the humans. Yet they did not attack. Instead, they seemed curious. It's as if they're testing us, Tariq said, watching a drone mimic the gestures of his hand. They're intelligent. They're aware we're here. Liana felt a mixture of awe and caution. Humanity had always dreamed of meeting alien intelligence, but here it was, silent, patient, and vastly superior. Yet the starship seemed to welcome them, offering its knowledge if humans proved worthy. The team spent weeks cataloging, mapping, and understanding the first sections of the starship. Each day brought new marvels, but also new challenges. The ship's sheer scale was overwhelming, and the humans quickly realized that exploring it would be a lifelong mission. At the end of the first month, Liana stood in a vast observation chamber overlooking a hollowed-out core of the ship. Light shimmered off thousands of reflective surfaces, and in the distance the far wall seemed to touch the stars themselves. "We've only scratched the surface," she said softly, "but what we've found, it changes everything. Humanity is not alone in its drive to explore. Someone somewhere thought like us, dreamed like us, and built wonders beyond imagination. And now, it's our turn to carry that legacy forward." As the team prepared to continue deeper, the sense of wonder and responsibility weighed heavily on them. They were the first humans to step into a civilization older than the stars around them. Every choice, every step mattered. Outside the frozen shell of S-117, Saturn's rings shimmered under the distant sun. Humanity's journey into a new chapter had begun. Buried for ages, the starships had waited, and now the humans had awoken them. The adventure had only just begun. The crew of the Aurora's Edge had been inside the colossal starship for several weeks now. Every day brought new marvels, but also questions that seemed impossible to answer. The corridors stretched endlessly, glowing with a faint, steady light, and the walls bore inscriptions in a language older than human memory. Dr. Han Su traced her fingers along the symbols again, murmuring to herself, "There's a rhythm, a repetition. It might be a record or a guide. But what does it mean?" Liana leaned over her shoulder, her brow furrowed. "Everything we find here could change our understanding of life and civilization. We need to document everything carefully. One mistake could cost lives, or worse, the chance to understand this place forever." The team had divided into smaller groups. While Liana and Tariq explored the central corridors and engineering sections, Elena studied the preserved ecosystems. and Hansu worked on decoding the alien inscriptions. Commander Jace and Miko focused on the ship's automated systems and robotics, trying to understand how they still functioned after millions of years. It was Jace who first noticed something strange. A door, massive and circular, had slowly opened on its own, revealing a chamber bathed in soft golden light. "Looks like someone or something is welcoming us," Jace said over the comms. The team approached cautiously. Inside the chamber, strange geometric patterns shifted on the walls as if alive. The air smelled faintly metallic but breathable. At the center of the room hovered a series of crystalline nodes, glowing faintly and pulsing with energy. Tariq stepped forward. "These nodes, they're responding to us. I can feel it in the instruments. It's like they're aware of our presence." Hansu's eyes widened. "Aware, you mean intelligent?" Before anyone could answer, one of the nodes emitted a beam of light. It scanned each crew member, tracing their forms from head to toe. A soft hum filled the chamber and the light coalesced into shapes, images, memories, knowledge. Liana gasped. "It's communicating, somehow. It's showing us its history." The images unfolded in the air like a holographic story. Vast starships traveled between galaxies. Civilizations rose and fell. Creatures with forms both familiar and strange built cities. Explored worlds and recorded everything in crystalline data nodes. Humans watched, awestruck. Elena whispered, "It's incredible. They weren't just explorers. They preserved knowledge, life, and culture on a scale we can barely imagine." Tariq pointed at one sequence. "And look at this, they built ships the size of planets to carry entire populations. But where did they go? Why are they gone?" Hansu studied the glowing patterns carefully. "It seems they left voluntarily, or at least they didn't die here. Perhaps they moved on to another galaxy, or another form of existence." For hours the team stood silently, absorbing the revelations. The starship was not just a machine, it was a living archive. A testament to a civilization older and more advanced than anything humanity had ever imagined. Later, as the humans explored further, Miko discovered something even more astonishing. Deep within the engineering section, small automated caretakers, drones no bigger than a human hand, began to move, lights blinking as they observed the crew. Unlike typical maintenance robots, these machines seemed to understand the humans' intentions, moving aside when approached, offering assistance by opening panels or activating systems. "They're helping us," Miko said, her voice trembling. "They're aware that we are visitors, not intruders. And they're guiding us." Commander Jace smiled. "Humans always seem to inspire curiosity. We learn, we explore, and apparently, even ancient machines respect that." As the crew delved deeper into the ship, they found chambers filled with dormant energy sources. Some were fusion cores. Others emitted strange energies that defied current human physics. Tariq's excitement was barely contained. "This is incredible. If we can understand even a fraction of this technology, humanity could leap forward centuries in a single generation. Fusion efficiency, energy storage, even propulsion. Everything here is revolutionary." But the humans were careful. The ship's age and size meant danger lurked around every corner. Floors had weakened, corridors shifted unpredictably, and some areas emitted sudden bursts of energy. Every step was calculated, every decision measured. Humanity's survival instinct and ingenuity were tested again and again. One evening, as Liana walked with Hansu near one of the vast observation halls, she paused to look out over the immense interior. Thousands of corridors, bridges, and chambers stretched below them, glowing softly like a miniature galaxy. "It's almost alive," Liana whispered. "I can feel it. It's waiting for something. Or someone." Hansu nodded. "Perhaps it waited for us. Perhaps this ship recognizes the potential of humanity, our curiosity, our resilience. Maybe that's why it responded to our presence." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alert. One of the drones had detected movement in a far chamber. The humans approached cautiously, weapons and tools ready. But what they found was not dangerous, it was fascinating. A massive console embedded in the wall, slowly powered on as the humans approached. Symbols flashed across its surface and the air hummed with energy. The interface responded to the humans' neural patterns, a thought-guided system, ancient yet compatible with human minds. Tariq placed his hand on the console. It's reading our intentions. I think it wants to show us something." Images of distant star systems, alien species, and interstellar travel plans appeared. A voice, soft and musical, resonated in the chamber, an artificial intelligence preserved for eons now awake. "I am the caretaker," it said. "The builders have long departed. You are the first to awaken me. Your kind shows promise. Curiosity, courage, and compassion. You may learn, but you must prove worthiness," Liana stepped forward, awestruck. "We are humans. We seek knowledge and understanding. We mean no harm." The AI seemed to study her words. "Your intentions are clear. You may explore further, but heed this. The knowledge within this starship is powerful. Use it wisely. Respect life. Respect the legacy left by those who came before you." The humans spent days interacting with the caretaker AI. It guided them through previously inaccessible sections of the ship, revealed some of the principles behind its technology, and taught them how to safely operate dormant systems. Elena marveled at one chamber in particular, a biome filled with floating plant-like organisms, sustained without sunlight or soil. "It's a perfect ecosystem," she said. "Self-contained, self-sustaining. Whoever built this, they understood life in ways we can barely comprehend." Even Commander Jace was impressed. "This isn't just technology. It's philosophy. They built ships that preserve life, knowledge, and culture. That's the true greatness of a civilization." Despite the wonder, the humans remained cautious. Every day reminded them that they were guests in an alien world. One wrong step could trigger defenses, collapse structures, or release energies they couldn't control. Humanity's patience, intelligence, and cooperation were tested constantly. Hansu finally deciphered a small portion of the inscriptions. They wrote about exploration, discovery, and responsibility. They believed knowledge should guide action, not power. Perhaps that's why they built the caretaker AI, to judge the worthiness of those who come after. Liana looked around at her team, exhausted but exhilarated. "We've only begun to understand this ship. But one thing is clear. Humanity has the chance to carry forward the dream of these builders. To explore, to learn, to grow, not for conquest, but for understanding." As the Aurora's Edge crew settled in for another cycle of exploration, a sense of purpose filled the air. These starships were not merely relics. They were invitations. Invitations to discover, to challenge, and to prove that humanity was ready for the vastness of the galaxy. Outside, the ice of S-117 reflected the faint glow of Saturn's rings. Within the buried starship, humanity took its first true steps toward a destiny among the stars, and as the caretaker AI hummed softly in the background, the humans realized that they were no longer just explorers. They were inheritors of a legacy that had waited patiently for millions of years. The adventure had grown deeper, the stakes higher, and the mysteries more profound. Humanity had awakened the giants, and now the giants were beginning to awaken humanity. Weeks had passed since the Aurora's Edge crew first awoke the caretaker AI. Each day brought new wonders, new challenges, and new mysteries. Humanity was learning, slowly but surely, how to navigate the immense starship, an entire mobile civilization built millions of years ago. Liana Rojas stood in one of the main corridors, watching the lights pulse along the walls. "Every section we explore teaches us something," she said. "The technology, the ecosystems, the architecture, it's all designed to last, to preserve life and knowledge." Tariq Amari, adjusting a portable sensor, nodded. "And it's all beyond anything humans have achieved. Even our best science and engineering are tiny in comparison, yet somehow I feel like we're beginning to understand it." Hansu walked alongside them, holding a tablet displaying translated inscriptions. "I've managed to decode part of the builder's log. They documented their journeys, the species they encountered, and the philosophies guiding their decisions. One phrase repeats often: preserve life, respect knowledge. They believe that civilization should advance responsibly." The humans took a moment to reflect. It was inspiring, humbling, and a reminder that their mission was not just about discovery, it was about responsibility. Deep within the starship, they reached what the AI called the Core Archive, a massive, cathedral-like chamber filled with towering crystalline structures, each one holding the knowledge of millennia. The walls shimmered with data streams, images, and symbols. "This is incredible," Elena Cruz whispered. "It's like a library, but alive. It stores information in ways we can barely imagine." Miko Tanaka moved forward to examine the smaller drones hovering near the crystals. They're managing the archive. Organizing it. They recognize our curiosity and are letting us access the knowledge carefully. It's teaching us how to learn from them safely. The humans split into teams to study different sections. Liana and Tariq focused on engineering and propulsion systems, while Elena studied ecosystems preserved within enormous biomes. Hansu continued translating inscriptions, while Jace mapped the internal structure of the starship. One day, while exploring a particularly deep section, Liana and Tariq stumbled upon a massive chamber they had not seen before. The floor was smooth, metallic, and polished to a mirror-like finish. At the center of the room hovered an enormous, semi-transparent sphere, glowing with a soft blue light. It looks alive, Liana whispered, stepping closer. Tariq's instruments buzzed. It's some kind of control interface, but not like anything we know. It responds to neural patterns, I think. It wants to communicate. The two reached out tentatively, and the sphere pulsed with light, sending a wave of images into their minds. Stars, galaxies, and distant worlds flashed before their eyes. They saw interstellar journeys, planetary systems being charted, and entire species being carefully preserved. It's showing us what the starship was used for, Liana said. Exploration, yes, but also protection, preservation. They didn't just travel, they safeguarded life and knowledge across the stars. Tariq nodded. And now, it's offering the same to us, if we can learn to use it wisely. Meanwhile, Hansu had uncovered an astonishing revelation. The inscription suggested that the builders had created multiple starships, forming a fleet designed to traverse galaxies and maintain peace. Each vessel was self-sufficient, equipped with AI caretakers, ecosystems, and archives. Some ships were explorers, others were guardians, and a few were repositories of knowledge and culture. These ships were more than machines, Hansu said during a team briefing. They were civilizations in themselves, built to endure time and space, to carry life and knowledge wherever they went. Commander Jace looked around the briefing room. And now we're standing inside one. Humanity is witnessing the heart of a fleet that traveled the stars. We have to treat this carefully. We can learn, yes, but we must also respect it. The humans began experiments under the guidance of the caretaker AI. They activated sections of the ship that had been dormant for millions of years, learning to manipulate energy fields, gravity controls, and propulsion systems. Every success brought excitement. Every failure taught caution. One day, while testing a small propulsion module, a sudden surge of energy caused a corridor to collapse nearby. Dust and debris filled the air. The team worked quickly, using portable tools and ingenuity to stabilize the structure. No one was hurt, but the incident reminded them of the immense responsibility they carried. This ship is forgiving, Liana said afterward, but only if we pay attention. Every action matters. As exploration continued, the humans discovered that some parts of the ship were not just physical. They were interactive in a mental and emotional sense. Holographic environments responded to thought and intention. Some chambers displayed simulated worlds, teaching lessons about ecosystems, governance, and ethics. Elena stepped into one such simulation and gasped. It's like walking on another planet, but it's teaching me how life can thrive in extreme conditions. This is education on a level humanity has never seen. Hansu entered a chamber where she could interact with a holographic archive of the builder's history. They valued not just survival, but understanding. They believed knowledge guided morality. They preserved life not for power, but for the future. Humanity has a chance to carry that legacy forward. The deeper the humans ventured, the more they understood that this starship, and the fleet it belonged to, was a test. The AI explained, the builders had designed these vessels to awaken only when worthy species arrived, capable of curiosity, creativity, and compassion. You are being evaluated, the caretaker AI said in its soft, resonant voice. Your species has potential. You may inherit the knowledge and capabilities of the fleet, but you must prove your wisdom. Knowledge without responsibility is dangerous. This challenge resonated deeply with the humans. Unlike many alien civilizations and legends, humanity's strength lay not only in technology, but in creativity, empathy, and cooperation. They had the ability to think critically, work together, and adapt to unexpected challenges. One significant breakthrough came when Tariq managed to stabilize a section of the starship's propulsion network. The energy fields hummed and vibrated as dormant engines slowly came online. The room glowed with a soft golden light. "It's working," Tariq said in awe. "We're actually activating systems that haven't functioned for millions of years. Humanity is doing what the builders intended. We're learning, adapting, and proving ourselves capable." Elena examined the nearby ecosystems. "Even these biomes, they're fragile. We have to balance knowledge with care. One mistake could destroy millions of preserved species. We're responsible not just for ourselves but for life itself." Liana nodded. "This is the true heart of the starship. Not its engines or its corridors or even the archives. It's the philosophy, the idea that knowledge, life, and morality must be balanced. That's what makes this civilization extraordinary, and it's what we must embrace." The humans spent weeks in this chamber, learning, experimenting, and testing their limits. They repaired ancient systems, interpreted the archives, and even communicated with some of the ship's more advanced AI caretakers. Each day brought understanding, and with it, confidence in humanity's potential. Yet even as they celebrated their successes, the humans knew the challenges were far from over. The starship was only one of a fleet. The knowledge they had gained hinted at more mysteries waiting across the galaxy. Other ships, other civilizations, other lessons to learn. At the end of one long day, Liana stood in the observation chamber, gazing out at the glowing interior of the starship. "We've reached the heart of this vessel," she said quietly, "and it's teaching us more than we could have imagined. Technology, yes, but also patience, responsibility, and wisdom. Humanity is not just exploring this ship. We are growing because of it." Jace joined her, arms crossed. "We've proven something already. We can work together, think critically, and adapt to challenges that would overwhelm most species. This ship, it's showing us that humanity has the potential to inherit more than just knowledge. We can inherit a legacy." The caretaker AI spoke softly, filling the chamber with gentle light. "You have shown perseverance, creativity, and ethical judgment. Continue with these values. The heart of the fleet recognizes your potential. The journey is only beginning." And so humanity continued. They had discovered not only the starship's immense structure and advanced technology, but also the moral and philosophical lessons embedded within. Every corridor, chamber, and archive was a test, and humanity was rising to meet it. Outside, the frozen shell of S-117 reflected the distant light of Saturn's rings. Inside, humans had touched the heart of an ancient civilization, and for the first time the stars no longer seemed distant and cold. They were alive with possibility, waiting for humanity to step forward. The adventure was no longer just survival. It was growth, understanding, and the beginning of a new chapter for mankind. Humanity had reached the heart of the starship, and in doing so it had begun to awaken its own potential. The Aurora's Edge crew had spent months inside the colossal starship, and every day had been a lesson in patience, discovery, and human ingenuity. Liana Rojas, Tariq Amari, and the rest of the team had learned to operate the starship's advanced systems, communicate with its caretaker AI, and navigate the enormous corridors and chambers that stretched for miles. But the most remarkable revelation was still ahead. The starship they occupied was not alone. The caretaker AI revealed that it was part of a fleet, an entire collection of planet-sized vessels, each with its own purpose and design. Some were explorers, others were preservers of life, and a few were repositories of knowledge that spanned galaxies. "You're telling us there are more ships waiting?" Liana asked, disbelief and awe mingling in her voice. The AI's soft hum responded, "Yes, the fleet remains dormant, buried across this galaxy and others. Only those who demonstrate responsibility and wisdom are entrusted with activation. You have proven capable. The next step is to awaken the fleet, gradually and with care." Commander Jace Thorne looked at the team. "This is enormous. We're not just exploring a single ship anymore. Humanity could control technology that changes the very balance of life in the galaxy." Elena Cruz nodded, her eyes wide. "And with that power comes responsibility. We have to make the right choices or we risk repeating the mistakes of lost civilizations." The crew began planning a methodical approach to awakening the other starships. The caretaker AI guided them, providing coordinates, energy access protocols, and ethical guidelines. It emphasized that these ships were not weapons. They were carriers of life, knowledge, and exploration. Tariq led the engineering teams. We need to ensure all systems are stable. One misstep could overload the energy cores or destabilize entire ecosystems. This isn't just science, it's careful stewardship. Hansu continued decoding inscriptions and data archives. These ships were designed for collaboration, not domination. The fleet works as a network. Every ship contributes to preserving life and knowledge. If we awaken them properly, humanity could expand responsibly across the stars. Over the next weeks, humans activated several of the smaller vessels. Each activation was like a symphony of technology and life. Dormant engines powered up, lights flickered to life, and ecosystems within the ship stabilized. The caretaker AI guided them every step of the way, monitoring human actions and providing subtle tests to gauge judgment and teamwork. Miko Tanaka watched as a series of drones reanimated in one of the newly awakened ships. They're amazing. These drones aren't just maintenance bots, they understand the fleet's purpose. They can teach us how to operate these ships without harming anything. Elena explored the biomes in the same vessel and gasped. Each of these starships is a perfect ecosystem. Life is preserved in ways we never imagined. We're not just awakening machines, we're awakening living worlds. Humanity's first challenge came when energy surges caused unexpected turbulence in one of the ship's cores. If uncontrolled, it could damage the vessel or even disrupt the entire network. Liana and Tariq worked tirelessly, coordinating teams across multiple ships. Focus on stabilizing the energy flow, Tariq instructed over the comms. Use the AI's protocols in your instruments. We can do this. Hours passed. Sweat-streaked faces. Fingers worked tirelessly on controls and energy regulators, and minds raced with calculations. Finally, with a synchronized effort, the surges stabilized. The ship hummed steadily, light filling every corridor. Humanity had succeeded. Jace smiled, exhaustion mixing with pride. We didn't just fix it. We proved we can handle this responsibility. That's HFY, humans stepping up when the stakes are unimaginably high. As the fleet grew active, humans began exploring other dormant vessels. Each ship had unique designs, ecosystems, and archives. Some contained species unknown to humanity, carefully preserved in stasis. Others held knowledge of interstellar navigation, energy management, and cultural philosophies. Hansu translated records that suggested the original builders had formed alliances with other intelligent species. They shared knowledge, resources, and guidance to promote peace across galaxies. The humans realized that the fleet's mission was not conquest. It was collaboration, protection, and understanding. This is remarkable, Hansu said during a briefing. The builders believed in cooperation. They saw the universe as a network of life, not a battlefield. They preserved wisdom, and they trusted those who showed moral judgment. Elena added, "It's a lesson for humanity. We have the chance to honor this legacy, not by taking power, but by sharing knowledge, protecting life, and exploring responsibly." The humans also faced ethical challenges. Some factions on Earth and distant colonies learned of the fleet's activation and demanded control. Political tension rose as rival leaders argued over who should command the fleet and how it should be used. Liana stepped forward during a communication conference with Earth. The fleet is not a weapon. It is a responsibility. Humanity's strength lies in cooperation, compassion, and wisdom. Misuse of this technology could destroy everything we've discovered. We must act as stewards, not rulers. Her words resonated. Slowly, humans across Earth and colonies began to form a council, a governing body responsible for managing the fleet and ensuring ethical use of its power. Humanity was beginning to prove that it could handle not just technology, but leadership, diplomacy, and moral judgment. Meanwhile, within the starships, humans continued exploration. One ship revealed a chamber containing data about distant galaxies and potential habitable planets. Another held simulations that taught humans advanced problem-solving, navigation, and even interspecies communication. Elena explored one such simulation and whispered, "It's teaching me how to create stable ecosystems on planets that could never naturally support life." Humanity could bring life where none existed before, and do it responsibly. Tariq marveled at another section. The propulsion systems are unlike anything we know. We can travel light years in a fraction of the time it would normally take. And yet, every system is designed to protect life, not to destroy it. The builder's philosophy is embedded in everything. As more ships awakened, The caretaker AI explained a network principle. Each starship communicated with the others, sharing data, monitoring ecosystems, and coordinating exploration. Humanity was not just operating one vessel. It was learning to manage a fleet capable of sustaining life, knowledge, and culture across galaxies. The team realized that this responsibility was immense. One miscalculation could destabilize an entire ship or ecosystem. One poor judgment could risk species preserved for millions of years. But humanity's resilience, creativity, and collaboration enabled them to succeed repeatedly. Weeks turned into months. Humanity activated the majority of the fleet, learning from each experience, balancing exploration with caution, and demonstrating the values the original builders had hoped to see in any inheritor species. Finally, Liana addressed the team in the grand observation chamber of the primary starship. "We have awakened the fleet. We have proven that humans can handle knowledge, technology, and responsibility on a scale that is almost unimaginable. But this is only the beginning. Our duty now is to explore, to learn, and to share this knowledge without harming life or the balance of the universe." Jace added, "We've shown that humans can be trusted, not because we are the strongest, but because we are thoughtful, adaptable, and compassionate. That's the essence of HFY. Humanity is more than survival. We are the guardians of our potential." Elena smiled, looking at the glowing ships around them. "And we can take this knowledge to the stars, helping life wherever we find it, guiding exploration responsibly, and proving that humanity belongs among the great civilizations of the galaxy." Hansu nodded. The builders entrusted their fleet to those who could demonstrate wisdom, curiosity, and empathy. Humanity has passed the test. The fleet is ours not to conquer but to steward. The humans looked out across the now active starships, stretching across the frozen expanse of S-117. Light shimmered off the hulls and ecosystems thrived within. Humanity had done the impossible. They had awakened the fleet, and in doing so they had proven their capacity for greatness. The adventure was no longer confined to a single starship. Humanity now had the tools, knowledge, and responsibility to explore the galaxy, preserve life, and honor the legacy of a civilization that had waited patiently for a species worthy of their technology. As the first coordinated activation of the fleet concluded, Liana reflected on what lay ahead. "We've learned how to awaken the ships. Now we must learn how to awaken humanity's full potential, curiosity, wisdom, and compassion on a galactic scale. The universe is vast and we have only just begun." Outside, Saturn's rings glimmered in the distant sunlight. Humanity, once confined to a single world, now stood at the threshold of interstellar stewardship. The fleet had awakened. Humanity had awakened its destiny. And across the stars, countless mysteries waited, ready for humans to explore, understand, and protect.